Hello. This video is all about my idea for a new timeline of history. And first I'll plug my book. And that's what it looks like. You can get it on Amazon. You can read the first chapter for free if you want. And you can look at all the table of contents for free. And if you want to buy one, you can buy one. Or you can buy 20 if you want. I won't mind. Okay, enough of the book. Now, here's our current timeline. As you can see, Christ was born on the first year. But how many people do you know that were born on their first birthday? Not many. Well, the reason they started the timeline on year one was because at the time they set this up, they had no idea what a zero was. They'd never heard of zero, and it wasn't for several hundred years before they did. Why they didn't change it then, I can't tell you. So anyway, this starting on year one has left us with a 1-year error. So from the birth of Christ, the first 100 years was actually only 99 years. And the first 200 years was actually 199 years. And the same with 300 was only 299 years. So my idea is to do this, is to add a 0 year for the birth of Christ. Now, historians believe that Christ was actually born, where is it here, between 2 and 4 BC. So if we move Christ's birthday back 1 year, we'll actually be moving it closer to his true birthday. So that would be good. And let's see what else here. One of the problems with our timeline is when we talk about different centuries, we give them confusing names. For instance, here in the first century, the first 100 years we call the first century. But there are no 100s in that century. It's all like 50 years, 75 years, 80 years. There are no 100 years until after the century's over. And this is enormously confusing because the 100s are called the second century. The 200s are called the third century. And on and on. And the 600s in here are called the 7th century. And it's confusing. Now, what I propose is this. Not only do we have a 0 year for the birth of Christ, but also a 0 century. Because all of these numbers in here, like 50, would start with a 0 anyway. And then after the first 100 years, everything is like 110, 150, 160. I think we should rename this the first century, and on and on. Like the 4th century, all the years in this century start with a 4. And the 3rd century, all the years start with a 3. And as it is now, you're off by a year. And like I spent most of my life in the 1900s. And that's called the 20th century. That doesn't make any sense. But if you go back like the 15th century, that starts, we can go look at this again here. Well, here it is. It's always a number lower, like the 15th century would be the 1400s. We need to get rid of that. That's stupid. Okay, now what's this? Also, when we go into the past the birth of Christ, the year numbers start to get bigger again. So we have all these numbers are identical to all these numbers. That's why we have BC and AD. So this last change that I propose would get rid of that. If we made, this is our current timeline here. If we made the year Christ was born, the year 10,000, then we could go like 12,000 years into the past, and basically was the Stone Age. And by not having an AD and BC thing, we just, any number less than 10,000 was before Christ was born. So any happening would be much easier to remember. And here, this part here, oops. You have the birth of Christ here. And all these numbers for the last 2,000 years would still remain the same, except they would have a 1 in front of them. Like, I was born in 1946. Now, I wasn't born in 1,946 years. We don't do that. We just say the number 20 or 1946, and today is 2026. Now, if we added a 1 in front of it, we could. I was thinking we could make a half-sized 1, a little, and. we could say, instead of 1946, we could say 1946. That'd be pretty easy to remember. And now, if a lot of people decided to do this new thing, and say the other half of the people thought it was nonsense and refused to do it, the year numbers would still be the same, really. I mean, if you wrote it with an extra 1 in front, you'd still be able to tell what year they're talking about. So, that's my idea, and if you want to read more about it, don't forget this. And so, that's the end of this video. And it gives you something to think about, at least. So, well, I'll let you go now. And I forgot to say that the video I made before this laid out the current timeline. So you might want to watch that and then rewatch this or whatever. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.